Okay, this series of episodes with Ordonna Sargeant is just so fire. I am so excited to be able to release these episodes to you all. I can't wait to share this conversation with you all with my friend and rockstar Agilest project manager, program manager, Ordonna Sargeant, who hails out of the New York area. And without further ado, let's just get this party started.
I am so excited to have Ordonna Sargeant, who will tell you all about herself and especially the conversation at hand about the day in the life of a Scrum Master. But I'm going to kick off our conversation with a question that I love to pose to all my guests. Ordonna, do you remember how we met?
So I was thinking about this. I think it was because I was researching, trying to find other PMs that look like me. I was doing a deep search on Google and I found Aisha, Women of Project Management, and then I found you, and you had a little sync where you can schedule time to talk one-on-one. And I was just like, oh, she doesn't know it, but she's now my mentor. She is now my mentor. She doesn't know it, but oh yeah. Did we become best friends? Yes, we did. It was like that. I was so excited. You were so open and welcoming and told me everything. Like, I remember talking to you about, I'm really interested in doing more in project management. And he was like, have you thought about being a speaker? I was like, a speaker? He's like, yes, they make this much. You said the dollar amount. You were like, men sometimes make more than women in this case. You have to use what you want to do. I was like, where's my pen? I was like, talk slower. I was writing down everything you said. I was like, my mind was blown after the conversation. And I was just like, oh, we're friends for life. That's what I remember. I was in a car. I was like, oh my God, the notes that I took after that conversation, like I still refer to today, like years later. So it was everything. I talk about you all the time.
Aw, so much.
I do. I really mean it. I talk about you with family. I was like, and Crystal said that, if I look into this is the better way to go. And I'm like, when I go to any of your events, everyone else just gushes about you. And I'm like, so it's everybody. Am I special? It's okay. I still feel special. But it's like, it's really like
Ordonna. Oh my gosh.
I mean it. It's really like this. And I'm like, every time they're like, no, she's really like this all the time. And her PMP trainings were so much fun. And I was like, yeah, she's really like this all the time. All the time. And I was just like, oh, this is great. This is great. So that was my experience. That's what I remember.
And you know what? You're not BSing, because when we were on a call and your husband got on the call, he said, look, I just need to break into this. You have been so phenomenal with my wife. You have been such a great mentor. I was like, oh, shit, excuse me.
I'm telling you, that's exactly what it's like. I was just like, I talk about you all the time.
Oh, yes. That's awesome. Well, I definitely remember those first times that we interacted. And I definitely, peeped you on Instagram. You are super active, a Black PMP. So it's just, like you said, it's always wonderful, especially in the world of project management, to see others who are like you, and that, we get to talk and share stories and share from a perspective of being a woman in a, very male intensive profession. And especially, we're like, as we like to say, little chocolate chips that appear every now and then. It's like, hey, let's talk. Exactly exciting.
Hello, across the room.
Oh my gosh, some of our listeners who may not be able to relate, they're like, what are they talking about? Talk to your Black friends. They will break it down for you.
Yes, they will. They will point it out to you. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me, Ordonna, what is your 30-second, 60-second elevator explanation as to what you do?
Well, all right, timer now. I am a project manager to my core. I have done project management in software and in technology product builds for a very long time. So I've worked in all kinds of different environments, waterfall, agile, and I'm someone who wants to share everything about project management. So I also on Instagram talk about project management, what we do on a day-to-day, running a team, managing up, managing horizontally, and being able to get a project from its beginning through to its completion, wrapped up with lessons learned and a bow. So that's basically what I do in a very fast, wrapped up shell. But I work
with, made it down the elevator. Awesome.
So yes, I work with all types of individuals, from executive leadership to engineers, to designers, UX. I work with them, researchers, all of them, to make a project come to completion.
That's awesome. And you recently, I'm just gonna brag on you. You recently got a new position at a not so small company. Would you mind kind of sharing what your role is there and maybe sharing what the company is?
So, small company named Twitter. I started with them not too long ago. And I am a senior program manager over the research team. So it is exciting. It is an exciting time at Twitter, as many may know. Only I have no idea what it'll be in a month from now. But it's exciting where we're constantly changing and evolving and growing. And in the midst of it all, we still want to be, a tool where you can get in the midst of the conversation. So I'm really excited about being at Twitter. The culture is awesome, even in the midst of like what's happening. The culture is still amazing. So I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. I mean, and I know with these big tech companies, there's been a lot of flack and not great news about culture. And it feels like it's back in college, and some people don't have very great experiences of college. So it's really awesome to hear that it's a great culture. And, I think it speaks to just kind of your dynamism and, resilience of just, roll with the punches, roll with the unknown. But that's what we do as project managers anyway. That it's a unique project, from start to end.
That's
and
right.
you have people changing their minds and changing the winds of the environment. And that's what you're going through. And just can't wait to see how you will absolutely land on your feet positively through all this. Yes. So before we dive into some specific questions, I have a fun fact question. So what's a fun fact about yourself that's not on your resume or your LinkedIn profile?
Something that is fun and strange is that my name came from Star Trek.
Really?
So, yes. My mom and dad are both Trekkies. And there was a Princess Ordonna who died for her planet. And
with Star Trek, with the Captain Kirk,
Captain Kirk. It is Captain Kirk. The whole
you have to send me the episode so I can catch up on
1,000%. But yeah, it's like when I tell people that, they go, "What?" I was like, I was like, they weren't quite the dress up Trekkies, but yeah, we were full blown Trekkies. Full blown. I've watched every single like season episode when they have like a new captain, all of it. That's my life. Yeah.
That is awesome. Oh, that is so awesome.
Yeah. That's not on the resume, but that's always like my easy fun fact.
That is awesome. Well, I've had a lot of folks come to me about the experience of a Scrum Master. So as you and I both know, being in training for the PMP, we get into the conversation about agile practices. And, it definitely dovetails into the conversation about being a Scrum Master. And people are always like, what does a Scrum Master do all day? And, can't you just combine the Scrum Master and the Agile project manager role? And of course, I clutch my pearls and, from theory and better practice. But I think what people are lost on is, what does a Scrum Master do? So just to make sure you do have that experience as being in that Scrum Master role. Okay.
Yes, I do.
So how did you find this role, or how did it find you, and where did you get your start in that Scrum Master position?
So I got trained as a Scrum Master when I was still a project manager. And then my following role was a Scrum Master role. And in that role, the company was building a product for General Motors.
Okay.
And we had a backlog you would not believe. So a backlog is the list of different functionalities that you're going to build for this tool, for this product, right? And what you want to do in Agile is build something in its totality and iterate on it, but you're always building and giving value. So they can test, they can give you an idea. And, when I was, working as a Scrum Master, it was a very large team, a very large backlog of what they wanted us to build. And we had to get organized. And the team, while they had a product owner and they had a large team, front end, back end, the whole nine, they weren't organized. And the client was just like, yeah, and we want this and we want that. And I'm like, where's the backlog? What are we referring to? And they go, well, we don't have one. I said, say it again. And like, so they were like, and I got caught. I was like, say it again. So like, I think it was literally my first day. And I put the client, like, I put the onus on the client on my first day. And they were like, oh, we made the right choice. And I'm like,
That's awesome.
I was just like, I just want to make sure that I'm tracking. I was like, as I played the new card, I was like, where's our backlog? I want to make sure that we are making sure that we're, aligned with you on what you're looking for and priorities. And, how are they like, well, we tell them what we want. I was like, and it's listed in the backlog. Where? And I'm like, and they're like, well, that's a great question. We'll make sure we get that for you. And like everyone in the background's like, yeah. So it was, it's an exciting thing to do, but what they needed was someone, you use a lot of the skill set and characteristics of a project manager as a Scrum Master, but it's a different mindset. It's a completely different mindset. You're empowering your team. You're coaching them. You're on the sideline saying like, this is what we need. And like, if they're blockers, I'll move them for you. And like, but you're making those things happen for your team, and as well as the client, the person who's waiting for this product, right? So you're keeping them informed. There's a lot to do. I can like kind of list through all the things a Scrum Master does, but that's like, it's exciting. Like that's what you have to do. You have to bring direction, and there's a cadence to how things flow. So you're that person who's making that cadence flow. You're making it happen, because otherwise it's kind of chaotic. Without a Scrum Master, it is chaotic.
Ooh, fire, right? Ordonna broke it down and said, you bring to the table the same skill sets, knowledge, similar tools as a project manager, but it is a different mindset now that you step into that role as the Scrum Master. Stay tuned for the next episode where we're going to learn more about being a real deal Scrum Master. Thanks so much for listening.